Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They say the sun is up, so are we. Good morning. It's another beautiful opportunity to be awesome. This is the Horizon TV, the show The Muslim Insight, and my name is Zamzam Ahmed. Let's look at what is making the headlines for this week.
As a dream ya kila Muislamu kuona Kaaba ni kule kuswali. Wewe unaswali unaelekea Kaaba.
Trip to Umrah. University students win fully sponsored trip to Umrah after emerging top of Islamic quiz competition 2024. Israel-Lebanon ceasefire. Muslim world leaders hail Israel-Lebanon ceasefire deal, calling it a relief for region.
Iko kitu imetokelezea, watoto wetu wasichana wanauawa kiholela holela.
Ending GBV. 16 days of activism against gender-based violence launched across the country with calls to end GBV.
Thank you so much for choosing Horizon this beautiful Friday of the 29th of November 2024. My sign language interpreter is Ilhan Noor. Now on to our top stories. The University of Nairobi played host to an exciting Islamic quiz competition organized by the Muslim Students Association of the University of Nairobi Msaun in partnership with Al Ihsan Charity. The event, held at the main campus in Nairobi, drew participants from 10 Msauni chapters from different UON campuses, including from as far as Mombasa. The competition, generously sponsored by Al Ihsan Charity, a community-based organization, aimed to foster intellectual growth and spiritual enrichment among Muslim students. Rahma Mohammed has more details.
The Muslim Students Association of the University of Nairobi Msaun were presented with a special opportunity to win a trip to participate in a well-versed Islamic competition and win a fully sponsored Umrah journey to Makkah.
Hii program nimechagua kuifanya kwa watoto ni kuonesha namna gani watoto wetu wamepotea na ushawishi wa kuwatoa kwa imani za dini. The only solution ambayo kwamba nimeiona mimi ni hawa vijana wetu, wasichana wetu wakapata trips za kwenda Umrah, Holy Lands, ni mahali kupata jenga imani zao. Na ukiangalia pesa ni nyingi za kwenda. Mtu kutoa pesa $1,000, $1,500 ni pesa nyingi kwa students. But kitu cha muhimu ni kwamba tukifanya hizi challenge, kwanza zinaleta faida mbili. Faida ya kwanza, zinamfanya mtoto au wasichana, wavulana wawe karibu na imani zao au strengthen their iman kupitia hizi question and answer. Kisha kitu nyingine zaidi ni masala ya to keep it in touch na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
The Islamic quiz competition brought together over 10 Msauni chapters across the UON campuses, including both male and female competitors representing Msauni Main Campus Chapter, Chiromo Campus Chapter, Kenya Science Campus Chapter, Kikuyu Campus Chapter, Kisumu Campus Chapter, Lower Kabete Campus Chapter, Msauni KNH Campus Chapter, Parklands Campus Chapter, Upper Kabete Campus Chapter, and Mombasa Campus Chapter.
This is one event that we have never had before, and for the first time we have seen our students competing in matters khair that has made them win some tickets to go for the Umrah package. So it has been a wonderful event, and a lot of thanks to the sponsors who are the Al Ihsan charity organization, who has made it possible and has found it relevant to start with the University of Nairobi as their first choice. So as you could all see, we had a representation from all the University of Nairobi campuses. As far as Mombasa campus, I think you saw our colleagues from Mombasa coming to compete in this competition. So it has just been one of the most memorable events that we have ever had as Msauni.
The quiz covered a wide range of topics, including Quran, fiqh, which is Islamic jurisprudence, and knowledge of the prophetic biography, Sirah, Islamic monotheism, Tawhid, Hadith, and Arabic language.
As for the question, kama ulivyosema, kulikuwa na zile rahisi, kulikuwa na zile moderate, kulikuwa na zile ngumu, lakini mulipata balance, yani ulipata rahisi na ukapata ngumu. Kwa hivyo next time inshallah utajua yale maswali yalivyo, kwa hivyo mtajiandaa vilivyo. Ikiwa bado Ustadh Omar atatuletea, ikiwa pengine hatopeleka another university, yani ataileta hapa. Kwa hivyo we'll be more prepared, na kuna zile hitches hapa na pale kwa sababu ya lugha. Inshallah next time we'll try beforehand to prepare in English, kwa sababu kila moja, labda wale ambao wanafanya Kiswahili pia na Arabic, anafanya Kiswahili combination yake na Arabic, atakuwa hajui Kiingereza. Lakini nafikiri ile O level, ile form 4 itakuwa inamtosha kuweza kujibu yale maswali biidhnillah taala.
The aim of the quiz show was to enhance the university students' Islamic knowledge, to critically engage with contemporary issues, and appreciate the contributions of Islamic civilization to the world.
Yani wazidi kufanya kitu kwa ajili ya Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Hii si kesi ya kwamba wameshinda wakaona tayari wameingia peponi. No. Hii ni moja katika dalili ya kuonesha Mwenyezi Mungu anawahitaji wao kule. Kwa sababu mtu anayekwenda umra ni guest of Allah. Now kwa kuwa wamewin, Allah has chosen them. Wamewachagua Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Kwa hivyo wasifikirie kwamba wao wameshinda ni zaidi ya wale walioshindwa. La, kuna wale walioshindwa ambao kwamba wao pengine kiimani wako zaidi kuliko hao. Kwa hivyo wao wachukulie kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala ndio amewachagua na wafanye kwa ajili ya Allah peke yake.
The success of the Islamic quiz competition led to Msaun calling on Al Ihsan charity to make the event an annual event involving more campuses and expanding the scope of topics. Rahma Muhammad, The Muslim Insight.
Thank you so much, Rahma Muhammad, for that beautiful story. Still on the same, the Muslim Students Association of the University of Nairobi's Kenyatta National Hospital, Msauni KNH Campus Chapter, emerged victorious in the 2024 Islamic Quiz competition organized by Al Ihsan Charity. The competition, held at the University of Nairobi, saw participants from 10 UAN campus chapters, including teams from Mombasa and Nairobi. The Msaun KNH team displayed exceptional knowledge and composure, earning the top spot in the fiercely contested event. Their remarkable victory secured them a prestigious grand prize, a fully sponsored trip to perform Umrah in Saudi Arabia.
Adnan Abdul Qadir, Muna, Noor, Abdisalam, Kauthar and Rawda are this year's winners of the first Islamic quiz competition for university students, organized by the Muslim Students Association of the University of Nairobi in partnership with the Al Ihsan Charity Organization.
KNH team walipata 51.3, 46.65 tulipofanya aggregate ya max ya 2 judges yani. Lower Kabete walipata 34 marks yani 34. Kwa hivyo kufanya KNH team 1 to be the winner of this edition.
The students demonstrated remarkable intellect and teamwork as they tackled challenging questions designed to test their understanding of Islamic principles and practices.
Alhamdulillah, it was a nice competition, a nice initiative for the people who have organized this. It's something that it gives us morale to go and visit Makkah and Medina. We are really happy and we're thankful for the organizers of this event. It wasn't an easy competition, but through an effort from the rest of the team, alhamdulillah, we were able to emerge the winners, alhamdulillah.
Speaking to the Muslim Insight during the event, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, the Muslim chaplain of the University of Nairobi, said the event was not just a competition, but it was a platform for strengthening the faith of the students.
Lakini hakuna aibu ya kusema kwamba hujui. So it's normal na ni kitu ambayo at least we gain more knowledge. Hakuna mtu ambaye anasema kwamba yeye ako na elimu mpaka mwisho kwamba elimu yake imeisha. Kila mtu anasoma polepole, na the more unaendelea kusoma, the more humble you become. Mimi I believe kwamba ilm or knowledge, if ilm makes you arrogant or ignorant, then both you and that ilm, both of you are useless.
The quiz covered a wide range of topics including Quran, fiqh, and knowledge of the prophetic biography, Islamic monotheism, hadith, and Arabic language.
University students, as we know, there are a lot of financial struggles, and people come from different backgrounds. And to bring this program to the university students is a big advantage to them. Some of them, maybe they could have never got this chance to visit the Umrah, and bringing such programs will enhance students in learning their religion more and more.
Al-Ihsan Charity, a long-time supporter of educational and spiritual initiatives, awarded the top teams the life-changing opportunity to perform Umrah.
As a dream ya kila Muislamu kuona Kaaba ni kule kuswali. Wewe unaswali unaelekea Kaaba. You don't see Kaaba, you just see a wall here. You have to see real Kaaba. Na hii ni dream ya kila Muislamu. Fikra ile ya zamani, sisi tulipokuwa tuinukia tunajua kwenda hija au umra ni wazee. Hii fikra imeisha. Wa kwenda umra sahihi ni vijana, si wazee. Na mkienda kule ndo mtakubali kwamba ni vijana, na wale waliokwenda wakubali ni vijana. Sasa hii nani atakaiwa motivate vijana kwenda? Nifanye nini mimi as a agency ya haja na umra mpaka ni motivate vijana?
The 2024 Islamic Quiz Competition marked a milestone in bringing together University of Nairobi Muslim students from diverse backgrounds. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, my name is Mariam Sa.
Thank you so much, Mariam Sa, for that report. Now moving on to matters ending GBV. Dagoretti North Constituency Member of Parliament Beatrice Elachi officially launched the 16 days of activism to end violence against women in an event held at Kileleshwa Primary School in Nairobi. Speaking to the media, the MP emphasized her commitment to eradicating violence against women, girls and boys, stating that her constituency has been one of the most affected by cases of GBV.
Dagoretti North Constituency Member of Parliament Beatrice Elachi officially launched the 16 days of activism to end violence against women in an event held at Kileleshwa Primary School in Nairobi. Speaking to the media, the MP emphasized her commitment to eradicating violence against women, girls and boys, stating that her constituency has been one of the most affected by cases of GBV.
Sababu yangu kuomba nifanyie hapa Dagoretti North ni kwa sababu jambo la kwanza, saa hii last week walitoa ripoti ya the whole country na Dagoretti North tunaongoza watu 1000 saa hii wameshikwa na virusi vya ukimwi. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba community health workers ni lazima tutembee pamoja.
Elachi reaffirmed her commitment in supporting the community health workers, stating that her office is working tirelessly to ensure they address the issue at the grassroots level.
Na sisi kama wamama wa bunge pia tukaamua pia sisi to join hiyo campaign ili tuweze kuhamasisha kina mama, ndugu zetu, vijana wetu, baba zetu, tuwaambie iko kitu imetokelezea, watoto wetu wasichana wanauawa kiholela holela.
The 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, organized by the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association KEWOPA, with support from UN Women and Nguvu Collective, brought together community health workers, women community leaders, activists and residents to champion the rights of women, children and boys.
Theme yetu ya 2024 is a theme of Towards Beijing Plus 30. Unite to end violence against women and girls. For me in Dagoretti North, I'll put violence against women and girls and boys. Because wako huko, nimewaona na macho yangu.
16 days of activism against gender-based violence is a key international moment to call for an end to violence against women and girls, which runs from the 25th November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, until 10th December, Human Rights Day.
Wakati mwingine umepitia hayo yote na unatamani mahali pa kwenda hupati, si ndio? Unatamani hata msaada, mtu akusaidia, hata kupata mental health support, support ya find basic needs, because sometimes unapata economic status yako si poa vile na upati hiyo support. So mimi nasukuma hii agenda sana, tupate safe houses, tupate support even for mental health for gender-based violence survivors.
We've had very serious femicide in this country. I know the president has promised 100 million, but let me tell you, this is a moral issue. We can have the money, we can have everything. It is a moral value issue that we must deal with. And how do you deal with it? We must go back to school to start talking to our young students in high school and colleges, and to tell them we all went through college.
The MP also called on community members to take an active role in breaking the silence around abuse and ensuring that perpetrators are held accountable.
Elsewhere, the Israeli Security Cabinet approved a ceasefire deal with Lebanon late Tuesday to end a devastating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. The ceasefire deal saw fighting between Israeli forces and the Lebanese Hezbollah group across the Lebanon-Israel border coming to an end. More than 3,760 people have been killed in Israeli attacks in Lebanon, with nearly 15,700 injured and over 1 million displaced since last October. Israel launched a massive air attack in Lebanon since late September against what it claims are Hezbollah targets in an escalation over year-long cross-border warfare with the Lebanese group since the start of the Gaza war. Israel expanded the conflict by launching an incursion into southern Lebanon on October 1st. More than 3,760 people have been killed in Israeli attacks in Lebanon, with nearly 15,700 injured and over 1 million displaced since last October. Switching gears, Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Muriuki, has announced preparations for the East Africa Region Global Health Security Summit 2025, scheduled for January 28th to 30th at Pwani University in Kilifi, are in top gear. The PS said it was important and a critical juncture for the region's efforts to secure the health and prosperity of the East Africa region. East Africa is facing a range of health security challenges, from the persistent threats of communicable diseases to emerging infectious diseases, and now the challenges posed by outbreaks like Mpox.
I am pleased to share the preparations for this summit and to be able to see their progress. We have already begun working with the stakeholders from across government ministries, the private sector, academia, and international organizations. We are committed as government in creating a summit that is not only informative, but also action-oriented. Our aim is to build on the lessons learned and to be able to understand the dynamics. One of the most critical components of the summit is the development of the strategic partnerships, which is very important. The challenges we face in health security that cannot be underscored, and we need to be able to realign. The role of academic institutions is equally important. Your research and listening to professor and the data you provide are fundamental to understanding emerging diseases, the dynamics of epidemics, and the development of new medical technologies. And you recall during the COVID-19, repurposing of other institutions. So the success of this depends to mobilize financial and in-kind resources to support the planning and organization of the summit, and also initiate all the processes that will be able to ensure that the partnership and knowledge sharing is implemented and sustained. We must be able to fund the necessary interventions, from surveillance and response systems to health infrastructure and capacity building.
The PS speech was read by Hilary Limo, who is the Manager, Public Health Emergency Operations Center, KNH. And with that, we take a short break, but we'll be back with more on infertility with our reporter, or rather our presenter, Mustafa Kasim. Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Kuna faida gani tupata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, mnapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Ni kitabu chenye uongofu kilichoteremshwa kwa mpangilio maalum.
Sura ikiitwa Madania inamaanisha iliteremshwa Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam alipokuwa kwa Madina.
Kila sura imepewa jina rasmi na sababu zake za kimsingi.
Inaitwa Suratun Nisa'il Kubra, sura ya wanawake kuu.
What is zakat? Zakat in Islam is the third pillar of our religion. Zakat is the right of the poor and the needy. Zakat is a blessing, it's not a penalty. The wealth that is zakatable should not be for personal use. Zakat doesn't purify haram wealth. Are employees' income zakatable or not zakatable? Allah has prohibited us from paying interest. Allah has prohibited us from receiving interest. You have to pay zakat even if you are saving that cash for purpose of performing Hajj.
Join Sheikh Alfan Abdallah as he tackles the importance and benefits of the third pillar, zakat in Islam.
Uislamu ambao ni maarufu kwetu sisi ni Uislamu ambao ulioletwa na Bwana Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni risala alotuachia mtume wetu mtukufu yenye kutuongoza kwenye njia ya kumridhisha Muumba na kujenga imani zetu.
Na risala hii haikuletwa ila kwa mtume wa mwisho vile vile ambaye ni Mtume Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni mirathi ya mitume inayotupa mwelekeo kwenye dini ya Kiislamu. Ungana na Sheikh Saad Ahmed upate kufahamu ujumbe alotuachia mtume wetu sallallahu alaihi wasallam kwenye Horizon TV.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Nasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu alimfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
Thabbit qulubana ala dinik wa ala ta'atik.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo.
Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Kasim Mustafa and this is Your Health is Your Wealth. What comes in your mind when you hear about infertility? Someone is married but he doesn't rear children. Today, we will be diving into this serious topic that is affecting so very many families out there. I'm joining Dr. Zahra Omar, a fertility expert based here in Nairobi at Victoria Fertility Center. What are the causes of infertility? How is it diagnosed? What are the possible solutions for infertility? Daktari, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Daktari, you define for us what infertility means.
For you to be diagnosed with infertility, you have to be a couple that lives together. If you are under 35 years, we say you have lived together for more than 1 year. That is the cutoff point. And you have been trying, having regular sexual intercourse, minimum we say 3 to 4 times a week, and you've been targeting your ovulations. Because we know couples who live in different areas, so you have to have at least tried, you have to have a knowledge of your menstrual cycle and you're targeting your ovulation, and also you're not using any contraception for 1 year. And if you're above, you're above 35, we return it to 6 months. If you've lived together for 6 months, you've been trying every month to get pregnant, but it's not happening, karibuni.
Mtu wameolewa for so very long time, 1 year. 1 year is a very long period of time. They are married. They are not getting a child maybe. What are most possible causes of this infertility?
Usually what we do here, we try to take both the female and the male. So sometimes the female has issues with the period, meaning maybe they have fibroids, they have endometriosis, they have polycystic. All these are diagnoses that are given by their doctor. Okay, and sometimes they are blocked tubes, which means the sperm cannot travel all the way to get the egg and fertilize. And for the male, we know these days we have a lot of male infertility. We have problems with erection, problems with the sperm count, maybe the sperm motility, it doesn't move very well. So it's always good once you have noticed that there's a problem to always seek your doctor's advice and try to see what can be helped. As we are aging, we know the fertility right now is less than what our parents and grandparents had. And we have things that have contributed to that, like change in our walking habits, change in exercise. These days, everyone is either driving, taking a boda. We are not very active as we used to be. Also, the type of food that we consume these days has a lot of fat, a lot of salt. It's a very unhealthy diet. And we have these substances that most people in our community do use, like miraa, mogoka, using alcohol, using cigarettes, which are not allowed, but still we find a lot of our people in the community using these things, and they negatively affect your fertility.
Okay, maybe talk about some of the things that someone can do apart from exercise and other activities. We have some of the drugs that someone can use maybe to boost his fertility rate, or vitamins that he or she can use to boost his fertility rate. So what are some of the vitamins or foods that someone can use to boost his fertility?
So first you'll need to come to the clinic. We check your hormones as both male and female. We also have to do a sperm analysis. Then when we know what is down, what is up, what is the issue, where the imbalance is when we can recommend. Every patient is different. So there isn't a drug that is for everyone, though generally in the pharmacies you will find a lot of medication that helps in conceiving. But maybe you are using something that is not meant for you. It's always good to have your results, and based on that is when we tell you maybe you need to use coenzyme Q10, you need to use inositol for people of polycystic, and how long you need to use it and what the dosage is. So it's really important to ask the appropriate questions in terms of what the problem is and what the medication to that problem will be.
Okay. Now you've received a patient who have come here to seek medical attention from you. What is the procedure? What do you do first, and how does it go up to realizing or diagnosing this person with maybe infertility?
Okay. So usually we have patients that can come to us, and sometimes we have patients that are in another town or even in another country. So we would advise you to do the baseline. That's meaning you do a blood test to check your hormone levels, both the male and female. Also, we check for any infectious disease. If you tell us you have hypertension, diabetes and everything, we will require that to be at the best level, that you have treated yourself, you are under medication and everything else is going fine. Then we also need a sperm analysis. A sperm analysis in which you have abstained for minimum of 2 days. That one gives us a good result, and we know the true picture of how it's going. And if it's someone who is here, we also add an ultrasound. This is a transvaginal ultrasound because it tells us many things about your reproductive organs. So in your ovaries, we look at your antral follicle count. That means in the ovary, there are those small follicles. So the younger you are, the more follicles you have. If you're above 40, we will require you to do it here so that we can count how many follicles are left. And also we check your uterus, does it have anything like structures, polyps or fibroids? And then we advise now, according to the results we have, what we are going to do forward.
Okay, now there is this thing we call ART. To what extent is ART applied?
Okay, so artificial reproductive technology is a technology that has been around since 1978. That was when the first child, she was called Luisa, was born. We used to say it was test tube baby, but in reality they are not made in test tubes. So what happens is, once we have your results, now we can tell you. Now, assuming the lady has blocked tubes, there's no way the sperm can go and pass through the tubes. So we have to bypass these tubes and make sure this fertilization takes place in a lab, in a special ART lab. Fine? So first we are dealing with the menstrual cycle of the woman. That means the patient will come to us on either day 2 or 3 of the period. We have done the scan, as we said. We see that they have follicles, and now we want to make sure that the follicles are big and we can fertilize them. Fine? So I'm going to talk about IVF first, and then IUI is the lesser ART procedure. So in vitro fertilization means you will do the fertilization outside of the body of the human. Fine? And this is allowed in Islam, because Islam says that if you are having reproductive problems and infertility, you have to seek medical attention, because we do like to reproduce. And if it is medically acknowledged, then there is no problem with it. So IVF means we give you some injections. We make sure that, let me use this, we make sure that your ovaries here are producing enough eggs. Fine. So these ovaries here are being stimulated. We say ovarian stimulation. So these eggs, because every month we have one. So when we are doing IVF, we are spending a lot of money. We want to make sure we harvest a lot of eggs. So we make sure we are giving you injections every day. And we are looking at how you are responding to the injections by doing a transvaginal ultrasound. And then according to your cycle, there's a day when you will be ovulating. So IVF means we are going to give you injections to make sure that your ovaries are stimulated. We know every month you produce 1 egg, which is going to get pregnant. But because you are paying a lot of money for IVF, we want you to have many eggs that we can harvest. So we give you on your stomach some injections every day, and we look at the response from the transvaginal scan. And according to your cycle, we know after like 2 weeks you will be ovulating, and we are doing the scan. Once the follicles are around 18 to 20 millimeter, we are now planning for our egg harvest. So what happens is you go to the theater. We are using a simple suction machine with the scan to retrieve our eggs. So the egg retrieval is done, and then in a special lab which we have behind this wall is where now we take your husband's sperm and fertilize the eggs. And once the embryo is formed, it's kept in an incubator. And once everything is seen ready, there's a doctor called an embryologist. He's the one who will tell us if the embryo is in which state, which grade is the embryo. Then we plan on another cycle. These days we don't do fresh transfers, we do frozen, because it has shown to be giving us very good results. So we plan on another cycle. Your embryos will be here in the freezer. We prepare you. We prepare this uterus to be receptive to the embryo. So you come when your other period now comes, is when we insert a small catheter like this one. We insert it here, and we insert your embryo back to you. So there are things that are considered, and whether you get pregnant or not, that depends on Allah.
Now talk about, you were to talk about ART.
Yes.
So talking about ART, for how long have you guys been doing this, and what is the number of people that you receive, maybe in a day, in a week, based on the
experience? Okay, for me personally, I've been doing this for like 5 years now. And ART is not only IVF. We have the insemination part, which is called intrauterine insemination. And maybe we say cycles per month. Cycles per month here in Nairobi, we do mostly like 20. We are not that busy, so we do like 20 cycles in a month. And then with IUI, they are done every day because patients prefer first to start, depending on their results, to start with a lesser, something that is cheaper first, and then later when they have not succeeded, they can go to IVF. So intrauterine insemination is cheaper than IVF, but it depends on your results and what the doctor will tell you whether you can start with that or not.
How have been the experience? Maybe have you guys received any positive feedback from the people out there that for 5 years, for 10 years I was married but I did not manage to get a child, but when I visited you guys I got a child? How have been the experience?
So we have alhamdulillah good results because IVF is not 100%. That is what we tell the patient from the beginning, to understand that this is just something that will help you up to a certain level. It is up to God whether you get pregnant or not. So the success rates here have been good. We have a few patients that have come back with positive pregnancy tests and some that have delivered. And some even, it depends. When you seek attention of a doctor and they tell you do this, sometimes even without undergoing any procedure, they tend to get pregnant only using medication. So it usually depends on your factors. What brought you to the center? What was the issue? Was it solved? Maybe some had big fibroids. Once they were removed, they got pregnant. So you don't have to undergo all these procedures, but it's good to seek advice from a fertility specialist.
Now, you as fertility specialist, I know you encounter a number of challenges day in, day out. What are these challenges that you face?
So for us being a super specialist clinic, that's why I said from the beginning, you try to explain. Yes, the patient comes to us with a certain problem. Sometimes it's even unexplained infertility. We've not found anything wrong with them, but they haven't been able to get pregnant. So there is something called unexplained infertility. So we usually tell you from the beginning, this is not 100%. It's a procedure that is done to increase your chance of conceiving. So there's a part of conceiving, and then there's a part of you keeping the pregnancy to term, because there are many women who also have recurrent miscarriages. So we try to consider all these factors. Are you having an immunological disease that is making you miscarry? Is there an issue with your cervix that you need a suture to hold your baby? So we do try to factor in what the issues are first. And then once we have done everything we can, we tell you. So if the results come back negative, we are here with our psychologist and we explain to you. Obviously, it's not a very good feeling at that moment because these people had all their hopes. So sometimes with ART, as we said with IVF, we get more embryos. Let's say this person came, we got maybe 8 embryos for them. Yes, we have implanted maybe 2. So there are other 6. So we have a chance with every cycle to implant for you. So whatever thing that was done in the first cycle, we try to adjust. And these days we have something called pre-implantation genetic testing. If you're above 35 and the husband maybe is above 40, we know there's usually a problem of having genetic diseased babies, like maybe Down syndrome, or if there's a history in your family that you've had the miscarriages, or there are sick babies in the family. So we try to do this PGTA, and it's a biopsy of your embryo which we have stored in the fridge. So we do it, then we tell you, out of your 8 embryos, maybe 3 are very okay, they are euploid, they don't have any disease. So if we are doing everything to make sure that our success is higher, it means your chance of even getting pregnant will be higher. Yeah. And if there are certain families that have, example, breast cancer history, maybe the grandmother had, the aunt had, the mom had. So with using technology like that one of pre-implantation genetic testing, we are able to find out which of these embryos are not having breast cancer. And then those ones are the ones we will implant them back to you. And we make sure we follow you up throughout your whole pregnancy, or if you prefer to go to your doctor. So sometimes it's just the knowledge. When the patient comes and you explain, you know, every couple is different. Some have this issue, some have that issue, and maybe they've stayed for long, like you said, 5 years, 6 years. And outside, people talk. They say, oh, if you have this, use this herbal, use this, use that, and it's not been working. So sometimes it's the information. Once you tell the patient, you put her on the right track. You tell her, okay, I have seen your problem. Maybe you have some polyps, you have some fibroids, and if you want, these ones can be removed laparoscopically. These days we don't open the tummies, and like before we use camera. So once all this is sorted and you try to conceive, it might happen. So it's the education part. Then also there's the counseling part, because most of the times the couples we see, they're in the brink of their marriage. Something hasn't been going right. They haven't been having, yes, we know mothers-in-laws and everyone has been up to you. You've not been having a baby. So these are people who are really stressed. So sometimes we end up consulting couples for 1 hour, 2 hours, because they want to tell us how much it has been a problem to them. So we do try to give you hope, because if you didn't try any procedure, then it's good for you to try first and say, okay, I have done my best. I was told that I can do IVF and I did it. Maybe it was successful, maybe for some it was not successful, but they know, yes, I did up to the level that I did my best, and Allah is the all-knower. You have a reason. Once you've been diagnosed, you've been told your problem is the, let's say, tube, because that's the most that comes around here. Your tube is blocked. Now, because maybe you don't have the money to come to such a center, or because you don't have the knowledge, you prefer maybe to do what your friend did, or someone in your family, they told you, oh, I use this medication. Yes, herbal, sometimes it does help. It helps to those people who want, but it's always good for you at least to know, you know, the name of that medication in English. If the name is there, then you can also do Google and see and search and know, like, oh, this medication is like this, what it does is this. But also don't waste your time too much. We know the eggs of a woman after the age of 35, there's a decline in the quality. So you don't want to be wasting your time. First, you've been married, let's say, for 5 years, you're not getting pregnant. Why would you want to waste your time 5 years using herbal? Yes, we are not against herbal, yes, but we're just saying as your egg quality declines, you should also seek medical attention. The herbal could help, yes, but also there are the drugs that we are saying here that we are using hormonal injections. Those are that provide you with extra FSH and all these hormones that make your egg grow bigger. And if you are lacking in any vitamin, then we have a lot of multivitamins. So depending on where you lack is where we will now be supplementing you with. There's no particular drug that is for all. Everyone has an issue of their own. But there are many in the market that you can get, and if they are prescribed by a fertility specialist, then they'll surely help you.
What is your advice today to those people who are either infertile or they have never had anything to do with infertility? When you are married in a family, everyone wants a child. We get married because of family, creating family and union. But now you are home, you are not sure if you are infertile, that is one. And there is those people who are feeling like they may be infertile, what is your general advice to them?
Use of substances. We know it's proven, right? Miraa, mogoka, smoking, alcohol. Too much of it does cause a problem in the production of sperms, in the egg quality, extra substances that people use. So if you are using hizi dawa za kuongeza nguvu, right? Hiyo kazi yake ni kuongeza nguvu. Sisi hapa tunahitaji ile sperm, ile mani ikue ndio iko quality nzuri. But if you are addicted to doing all these other things, which is haram by the way, so it means your concentration between you and your wife when you're having intercourse is not the way it's supposed to be. So first, already that could be a cause of why you are being infertile, because you cannot produce when you are needed to produce. And then another thing, we have all these microplastics, which we say they are endocrine toxic. We know at home we use a lot of plastic containers. In the water, we are storing them in plastic bottles. Now imagine you've had your own child, let's say from nursery until university. She's just using plastics. Kila siku anabeba chakula moto tena. Hiyo plastic anakuwa anakula in micro doses, which is harmful. Yes, and it is endocrine toxic. Inaharibu hizi organs ambazo zina produce hormones, na hormones ndio kitu muhimu katika reproduction. So vitu kama Viagra, yes, sometimes it is medically allowed to use because we need to reproduce the sperms, but if you are an addict, hiyo sio tabia mzuri, sababu itaharibu ile function yako ambayo inahitajika ndo upate mtoto, right? So jaribu kabisa, maybe seek a psychologist advice, because hao ndo wana deal na mambo ya addiction. For advice, as a take home message, stay healthy, have a healthy lifestyle, and when you have tried for more than 6 months and you are not conceiving, then seek medical attention. Ask a fertility specialist. If you go to any gynae, they have a basic knowledge of fertility. Yeah? And once they see it is advanced, that they cannot handle it, then they send you to a fertility specialist where you can be helped. Usikae piki yako ukanyamaza, mimi sizai, mimi tasa, mimi niko na hivi. No, these days we have hope, we have some sort of treatment that we can help you with.
Foods. What are the foods that we can eat to boost our fertility rate? I said I'll have so many questions once we come back.
So, food, there is no particular food. Food, you have to have a balanced diet. It's not one day unajijazia chipsi na mabaga, siku ingine unakula hivi. Kwa watu wetu kama especially nasema wa Mombasa, tunapenda kutumia manazi mingi, mafuta mingi, vitu vya sukari, na mwanzo siku hizi tuk kila pahali, hata kutembea tutembei. So go back, ukiona uko na hiyo shida, we mwenyewe wajijua. So go back, try to have a healthy lifestyle, meaning utembee zaidi ama ujoin gym, and then in other words have a balanced meal. Balanced meal namaanisha fruits mingi, mboga nyingi, yes, carbohydrate kidogo na nyama ya kutosha. Kama unaona uko na kilo zaidi, juu tunapima BMI, unaona uko na kilo zaidi, jaribu, na hatusemi upoteze kilo 20 kwa mwezi, no. Try to be moderate. 1-2 kg per month. In 5 months, that's 10 kg. So unajaribu, wewe mwenyewe unajua shida yako iko wapi. Kwa hivyo jaribu kujihisi, uone, okay, naweza kufanya hivi, naweza kufanya hivi kwa uwezo yako. Si lazima utumie mapesa mingi. Jaribu tu wewe mwenyewe kujirekebisha. Niko na addiction ya hii na hii, na sasa nimeoa bibi yangu. If you think, so first of all, even if you don't have an idea about fertility, you have an idea about your monthly period. If you are not getting it, that is a problem. If you are getting it once in a while, it's a problem. If you are getting too much of period, it's a problem. If in terms of man, you don't have the power to have an erection or to produce any semen, then that's also a problem. Already you have some sort of diagnosis. And then you can go now to the doctor and get the professional help. Here, me being a Muslim woman, I practice Sharia compliance. So it's only this artificial reproductive technology that is done using the husband's sperm and the woman's egg. We do not do any donations here, and we do not do any surrogacy because at the moment it is not allowed in Islam. So when you come here, just know that we will treat you as a couple. And to all the men who feel shy and everything, you tell your wife, oh, you go and check me, I'm okay. It's very important. Yes, as you support your wife, you also get checked yourself so that we know. Yeah, unless you tell us that you have a 6-month-old child or a 2-month-old child that you have fathered, for us it is infertility. So we need to know your sperms, we need to know the egg quality, we need to do your hormonal levels, we need to know that everything is okay, there's no immunological issue. We advise you even within these months that you are seeking fertility treatment, maybe do this, maybe try this, maybe, you know, as first we want you to conceive in your own natural way. Then when it's not possible is when now we come to artificial technology.
Mashallah, Daktari, thank you so much for making your time for us. It was such a very interactive session, and I believe our viewers back at home have learned about infertility, what they should do and what they should not do in order to become fertile. Inshallah, we look forward to be having you in our next episodes, and I believe you will help us know about so very many things that you people do here at Victoria Center. To you back at home, ladies and gentlemen, it's been well said that you know yourself. Unajijua wewe mwenyewe. Make sure you seek medical attention whenever you feel like something is not working very well. Eat well, sleep well, and do your daily activities in a way that you feel you are okay. Until next time, my name is Kasim Mustafa. Masalam.